In this video, I am going to be making a tier list for all of the different operators in Delta Force, and this is going to be a tier list specifically for the Hot Zone mode, which is the brand new 3v3v3 mode in Delta Force Season 2, which is currently out for anyone that doesn't know. So it's going to be a tier list for that mode. It's not going to be for operations, it's not going to be for warfare, it's just going to be for the Hot Zone mode is what I'm going to be doing this for. And so we have some tiers here. I might change sometimes with my tier lists. They change as the video goes on. I might rename some of these. But for now, that's what they're going to be. It's going to be always good, can be great, is okay, niche picks, and then throw down in D. And I have all of the operators here, and we're just going to go ahead and start with Dewolf, I suppose. We might as well just do it in order. I have them here. Why not? Dewolf is not the best pick ever in this mode, and the reason for that is because his X isn't so super useful in this mode. It's not as useful as it would be in a normal mode. I don't think it's going to be fantastic. Your health regen isn't really going to be the decision maker in any of the fights either. The health regen that you get from your X when you down someone, and that's really not going to be the decision maker in the fight. Your Vs are fine, but you'd probably rather just cock a frag and have it blow up, you know, at the right time, or do a similar thing with Viren's knockback. And your smokes are nice. Your smokes are nice, but I feel like smokes in this mode aren't super duper mega useful. And there is another character who does also have smokes that are, maybe they have like a better rest of their kit. So I think he's fine. I think, you know, he's not really going to be niche because he is quite versatile, right? That, like, his whole kit is quite versatile, so he's definitely not throw. I don't think he's niche. I think he's just fine for this mode. I played a lot of this mode, wasn't seeing any Dewolfs that much at all. Don't think they're super duper mega fantastic in this mode, but I do think if you go with them, you know, you can have a fine game with them. Then we have Luna. And I think Luna's either going to be S or A. And I just don't know where I want to put her, because I don't think she's always good. Because I feel like you have to hit your scan and then do something to follow up on it. Because if you don't hit the scan, well, then you don't know where they are, right? So you might as well pick a different operator. And if you don't follow up on the scan, then the scan was kind of useless, right? So I think they're going to be, like, they can be great. They can be, like, super duper mega damaging if you're playing your cards right. But it's, like, S is going to be, like, automatic win tier almost, I think. And Luna's very good because if you use your scan and then you start, like, cocking a frag as soon as you've used your scan, let's say, you know, you mark 2 enemies and you cock that frag and then you throw it in there and it blows up at the right time, and now you've got, like, 2 enemies that are, like, half HP, then you shoot the Volt Arrow on the wall behind them maybe so they can't run away, then maybe you throw another frag and then you just aim at them and wait for them to come out, and then you can finish them. Like, Luna's got a lot of potential. Her X is fantastic. If you hit it, you just have to be able to hit it. You can also bend it around the corners, which in Hot Zone is super duper mega useful. And also your whole team can see what like the enemies you've scanned as well, which is very useful too. Kind of keeps the team together sometimes, helps you focus the same target occasionally. So I think she has potential to be very good. Frags are always lovely to have. The scan is good, and her Volt Arrow isn't the best, but it does have its uses. Like, if you down someone, you can shoot a Volt Arrow on them so that if there's another teammate next to them, then you'll see, you know, both of the enemies, the downed one and the one that just got damaged by the Volt Arrow that was going for the res and stuff like that. So Luna can definitely be pretty solid in this mode. So I think she's going to be and can be great. And then we have Hackclaw. And she's not always good, because you can definitely suck with her. It's very easy to suck as Hackclaw. I think she also can be great. And the reason for that is, again, it's going to be kind of a similar reason. If you could use, well... no, I think she can be great. If you know how to use your scan, and then you know how to make the flashbang, you know, follow the scan of your ultimate, and then you get a hit marker on that flashbang, and then also you follow up on that, then that's going to be essentially just a free kill, or like a kill that's not going to be so difficult to get. I think the difference between Luna and Hackclaw is quite large. I think like Hackclaw would be here in A, you know, and Luna would be right at the start. I think Luna's much, much better. Maybe I'll change the tiers around later on. But pretty similar to Luna, but just harder to make more out of, because like one, Luna's ultimate is much better than Hackclaw's ultimate in this game mode, and Luna's V, which is her Volt Arrow, is much better than Hackclaw's Luna's G, her grenades, are much better than Hackclaw's throwing knives in this game mode as well. Like, Hackclaw's throwing knives just really don't do anything when people have, like, gold armor, right? It's not an insta-kill, unless you hit them in the head, which is real hard to do, and I think even then I'm not too sure if it's an insta-kill against, like, gold-armored players. So, you know, the throwing knife isn't fantastic, definitely not easy to use. You're not going to be seeing many people just, like, insta-downing 2 enemies because they had 2 really nicely placed throwing knives. It's not really going to be a thing. And so you're then just kind of left with your Vs. Like, your ultimate, if you're playing Hackclaw for the ultimate, just play Luna, and if you're playing Hackclaw for the throwing knives, just play Luna, because neither of those things are that good on their own. Where Hackclaw shines is she has to pair her ultimate with the flashbangs, and then just, you know, shoot the people. And if you can do both of these things, then she can be a very, very good character. But doing both of those things is very difficult to do. Maybe I'll say easy to be great. Then I'll say like hard to be great. Hard to be great. And then I'll say is okay. Then I'll say niche X. So then we're gonna do that. Because Luna's much, much, much easier to play than Hackclaw. But Hackclaw still has a lot of potential. I think it's just much harder to be good with Hackclaw. And Dewolf, again, I think he's just going to be okay. I think he's going to be fine in this mode. Enough said about that. Then we're going to go into Shepherd. And I don't think Shepherd's that hard to play. I'm going to put Shepherd in A. I think maybe they'll go last in A, but I think Shepherd's going to go in A. Now, Shepherd is very good because he's a very simple character. If you know the enemies are going to come through somewhere, put your mines where they're going to come through. You're going to get some free damage in, you're going to distort them, you're going to slow their movement speed, and that's going to essentially just allow you to get like a free kill, or just chuck a nade in there and get them super duper low so that you can then go and get a free kill. So the mines are always good. You can use them both offensively, like just throw them like a frag grenade if you're close enough. Lots of people have been doing that in this mode, and they've just been hitting me with it before I can destroy it, so that's a good thing to do. And then you can also use it defensively, like if you don't want someone coming into a room, just put the mines on the doorway, and then when they come into the room, just shoot them, and they're gonna die faster than you are, because they're already gonna be a little bit low, and their aim is gonna be a little bit off because of the mines, right? And you have 2 of them as well. Then you also have frag grenades, which have like a 3-second cooldown on them or something. 3 or 4 second timer on the cocking device, whatever it's called. So you start throwing it, and then it's got like 4 seconds before it blows up. So that allows you to throw them pretty quickly. And this is useful on like every single map, because you can essentially just get the frag grenade to blow up exactly where you want it to pretty quickly. And I've gotten tons and tons and tons and tons of just downs with just frag grenades without really knowing what's going on and how many people are in the area. I'll just down someone with frag grenades constantly as Shepherd. Those are very easy to use. And then in this mode, what happens a lot is you'll get super low, you'll get the other enemy super low, and then it's just kind of like a 1v1, or you'll just be low in general. And you'll want to be healing up, so maybe like all your armor's broken and you're on like 20 HP and you want to heal up. So what you want to do then is just pop your Rex in a stationary position where it's not going to get shot, and it's very unlikely that anyone's going to push you while you have that active, and that's going to just give you a free chance to just get like free heals in there, maybe throw some mines if you really don't want them to push you. And then you're just going to essentially be able to heal up, and also it's going to be interfering with the enemies, which is very good as well. So you can play offensively, you can play defensively, and then like you can play offensively with the mines, you can play defensively with the mines, you can play offensively with the frag grenades, and then you can play offensively or defensively with your ultimate as well. So he's like very versatile, and he's just a solid character, is what I'd say. And he's not really that difficult to use either. So I think it's not too difficult to add a lot of contribution as Shepherd. So then we're going to go into Stinger. And Stinger is not fantastic. I'm going to put him behind Dewolf. So Stinger this season got a nerf. His heals heal a little bit slower. I think they actually heal a little bit slower than they did before. So the heal is more of like a heal over time thing, and less of a like insta heal me now kind of a thing. And he just doesn't really offer enough. Like, yes, heals are nice, but also when you have gold medkits, it only takes like 4 seconds to heal, you know, so that's not the biggest amount of time ever. And also, you know, if you really don't want to spare those 4 seconds and you want to use your X's, that's fine, but then all you have are smokes. Like, smokes are then the only thing you have. I'm going to put him in D, actually, because he really only has smokes after the heal thing, and people don't really need heals in this mode, because it's so fast to just heal up yourself. I'm not going to put him there. I'm going to put him C, because he is good for rezzing. If you want to pop a smoke and res, that's fine, but you're essentially, like, only offering support as Stinger, which isn't great. You want to have some offensive capabilities, and you just don't. Like, Luna, you know, you can play a little bit defensively with her Volt Arrows, and she's offensive and defensive. Shepard could be offensive defensive. Hackclaw can be offensive and defensive with their flashes, so can Dewolf, and Stinger just can't. Stinger is, like, only defensive. He can't really, you know, give himself a chance at taking someone out. If you're playing solo, if you're, like, trio stacking, then you could argue that you could use, like, a Stinger smoke, and then tell your Luna to shoot an arrow, and then you can see them and they can't see you, and you can probably do some combos like that. But this is going to be, like, essentially just for, you know, if you're solo queuing into a trios match, like, who is going to be best, if that makes sense. Because if we're talking about combos, then, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. So it's going to be for, like, solos loading into a trios match, which is why Stinger's going to go into C. Just doesn't really offer enough offensive capabilities. Like, if it's a, like, if it's a 1v1 and your opponent isn't a Stinger, you're going to have a rough time winning that game. But if it's a 1v1 and you're like a Shepard or a Luna, you have, like, a lot more options, if that makes sense. So there we go. Then we have Uluru. And I think he's going to be, what's his, I can't even remember his, oh no, I know it now. Okay, never mind. Yeah. He's not bad. I'm going to put him in where do I want to put him? I'm going to put him in hard to be great for now, and then I'll see how I feel about him. His missile launcher, if you could aim it, very, very, very hard to aim it. But if you can aim it, his missile launcher is very good. And he's really who you want to be using for, like, covering ground. Like, you throw a fire mine, and then you, like, go push while the enemies back off. And then you just want to, like, push as Uluru, and that's just kill the enemies if you got a little bit of damage on them, and then it's going to be like a 1v1, but you have more HP, right? And then, you know, you can throw an incendiary mine, get that place on fire, maybe send a missile after them, and then, like, kind of lock them into an area, then throw the third mine, and then just go mess them up, because they're already going to be quite low from that. Again, missile launcher is very difficult to aim, but if you can aim it, it's going to be a solid pick to go with Uluru. Especially if you can, like, bend it around corners and stuff like that, because there are a lot of those on the hot zone maps, except for the barracks one, Zero Down barracks map that doesn't have so many corners on it. But anyway, and then you have your Vs, which I really don't think the Vs are going to be that useful in this mode. I'm sure they will have some niche scenarios, in which case they will save your life, but I think there will also be a lot of scenarios where you put one down and it just doesn't do anything. They're just going to shoot you in the legs or something if you're prone behind one. So I think he can be good, because his fire is annoying. You have to, like, extinguish it as well, because otherwise it keeps damaging you over time, which isn't great. So he can definitely be annoying. He can definitely do a lot of damage. I think it's just quite difficult to know how to use him well with your team, and not to, like, over push and all of that kind of stuff, and not to, like, put... Yeah, I think, yeah, I've said enough about him. I think he's going to be very difficult to be good with, but I think he does have potential to be pretty annoying in this mode. And then we have Viren. And Viren is going... where's Viren gonna go? Is he always good? I'm trying to think. If he's up against a Luna, is that a good matchup for him? Like, not really, no. If he's up against a Shepherd, he's not always good. He's not S tier. Is he easy to be great with? He's not super, super mega difficult to be fantastic with. What you want to do with Viren is you use your ulti when someone is far away, so that by the time it gets there, it's like already activating, which is essentially just a free kill. Like, you shoot it somewhere far away, it blows up, it gets like 1 or 2 people, and then you use your V to quickly push them and finish them off, or once it blows up, you just use your Gs to kill both of them once they're in there. Once they're knock time meet, and then they can't get away. You can also use it to put on like downed players and stuff, so if they go to get res, they're just gonna die. You can get like you can stick people with the bombs, which is essentially just an insta kill also. So he does have lots of potential. So I'll put him in. I'm not gonna put him ahead of Luna, because I think he's more difficult to use than Luna. Because, you know, you can use your V and try and push someone, and then you just get shot from behind. I think with... No, I'm gonna put him in... I'm gonna put him first in A. Because all you have to do is use your X at the right kind of range, and then get it to blow up in the right place, use it at the right time, push that if you can, and then just kill the people, and use your magnetic bombs offensively or defensively also. I think Viren's a very, 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 very good pick in this mode. He's very annoying, and I've been hit by the knockback a lot of times, and it's resulted in a free kill like 90% of the times that I've been knocked down. Like, very rarely you get knocked down and don't get finished. So if you get a knockdown with this thing, it's very good, because even if you don't kill the person, one of your teammates is probably going to kill the person, and if they don't, maybe just the other team is going to kill whoever you downed, right? Before they get back up. So it's very valuable to have a Viren on the team, very valuable to get an X, which isn't that difficult, right? And so yeah, you just have to be careful of your movement, and you have to make sure, you have to like remember to use your abilities. I think with Luna, you like, you know, you scan the enemies when you don't know where they are. With Shepherd, you put the mines on the doors the enemies are going to go through. I'm going to put him last in A, because I think he's a little bit more difficult to be good with than Shepherd or Luna, but I don't think he's anywhere near as difficult to use as a Hackclaw or Uluru. So I'll put him there. Then we have Toxic. I'm gonna skip Toxic, and I'll... no, I'm not. I'm gonna do Toxic. And Toxic is... where is Toxic going to be? I think she's kind of in the same boat as Hackclaw. And I think she's in the same boat as Hackclaw, because with Hackclaw, you only really have one thing that's useful in the mode. But the one thing that's really useful is very useful, right? And for Hackclaw, that's her flashes. Her flashes are really useful, and once you know that someone's been flashed, you kind of have to guess one of two things. You don't know, you do just have to guess it most of the time. You have to guess if the opponent's going to stay there and try and tank the flash and try and peek the corner even if they can't see anything and just stop you from going through, or you're going to have to guess if they run away. If you think they're running away, you can like push it and try and shoot them in the back while they're running, and if you think they're still there, then maybe you tell the teammate to chuck a frag grenade in or something, or maybe you try and do a push, but like from a different angle. You try and do a flank or something, I don't know. And with Toxic, that's kind of the same thing. If your ultimate hits, you kind of just have to guess what the opponents are going to do. You have to guess if they're just going to tank it for a while and just try and watch the corner. Or you have to guess if your opponents are going to try and get rid of it would be the ideal time to push because they're going to be doing an action, which means they can't shoot their gun. But either way, Toxic is going to be a solid pick, because if you can hit someone with your ulti, it's going to be a good time to push, because like situation 1 is they've already taken some damage from your ultimate, and so they're going to be like, I don't know, 75 HP and you're going to be 100, which means you've got the upper hand in that fight if you've got decent aim. So that could be beneficial. And the other scenario is they're getting rid of the ultimate, and therefore they're in an action, so you have your gun pointing at them and they don't have their gun pointing at you, so that you also have the advantage in that fight. But the thing is, you have to be able to aim quite well, because you only have about, I'd say, less than a second to get your initial shots off, and if you miss like most of your initial shots, you're just gonna get killed, right? Like, making someone affected by her, like, metal flies, whatever they're called, isn't an insta-kill. Like, Viren is essentially just an insta-kill if you hit someone with a knockdown. Toxic isn't like that. With Toxic, you have to, like, put more work in to be able to get the finish after you've hit them with your ulti, and your other two abilities don't help with that. Your V is, like, fine, it's whatever, it doesn't really help that much. Like, slightly faster ADS time, sure, it's like a nice little bonus, but it's not super amazing. And then your G is the smoke grenade, which is like just also fine, nothing absolutely incredible there, it's just like a fine thing to have on. So you're dealing with, like, everything is just like from your ulti. Everything you do is Toxic is like from your ulti, and you just have to try and play off that. So I think she's gonna be very difficult to use effectively and efficiently, like, every single time. But if you get good with her and you've got like a good team that can make good call-outs, she's going to be a very good pick, and she's going to be very annoying to play against. So I think she has a lot of potential, but I think she's the character that depends most on how good the other person is, if that makes sense, or how good the player is using her is, if that makes sense. And then we have Seva, and this guy is an interesting pick. I really don't think he's that good. I really just don't think he's super fantastic. I'm going to put him into D. Am I, though? Am I going to put him into D? Yeah, I think I am. So, the reason I'm going to put him into D is because, like, again, this is going to be a solo tier list, right? It's going to be tier list for you are queuing in solo, and this is a tier list for which one of, you know, the operators are going to give you the highest chance of success of winning the match with randoms, right? That's what this tier list is. And if you're running Seva, there's like a good chance that your teammates just aren't going to talk to you, and you're not going to really have any callouts, and then you're just kind of playing on your own, in which case he's going to absolutely suck because his shield does not do any damage. You have to hit someone about 6 or 7 times with the shield to down them, and that's a lot of times, and also your stamina is going to run out before you can even kill them, and there's also going to be, you know, other people that are going to be shooting at you, right? So a lot of things have to go right. One is the opponents have to not be able to aim, because if they can just, if they shoot your glass a lot, you just die, right? So thing number 1 that has to go right for you is your opponents have to not be able to aim. Thing number 2 that has to be right for you is they have to, like, stay very still or walk in a very straight line for you to be able to hit them with your V, your grappling hook. So if they stay very still or walk in a very straight line, and then you can grapple them, that's great, and then you can bring them towards you, wonderful. And if you still haven't got shot at this point, then you can start knocking them down with the riot shield and using your G to place some barbed wire, because that is going to greatly assist you in killing them slightly faster than if you were just bashing them with your shield normally. It stops them from, like, getting away once they're already down. So bash them with the shield, use a G, bash them with the shield, use another G, and then just try and keep bashing them into the same barbed wire. Now, it does take a lot of hits. It takes like 5 or 6 hits, maybe 7 to down someone. Definitely less if they're running in the barbed wire. So if they can't get away for some reason, like if it's Viren, they could just get away from you. But if they can't get away because you're just bashing them too much and maybe they're in a corner or something like that, then that's great. But again, it also has to be, you know, a 1v1. Because if you start getting shot in the back, you're just dead, you know? So, a lot of things have to go right for you to just get a kill with your ultimate active. And if you don't use your ultimate, you're completely useless. Like, your barbed wire is not a useful perk, because pretty much everyone has explosions, and everyone does have a knife. So your ultimate is not a good pick. It's not sneaky like Shepherd's Mines. It's like basically just a giant flag being like, this is where we are, come get us. So your barbed wire is not a good pick. It's not great. The grappling hook is like only something you pair with the riot shield. So he is completely useless unless you use his ultimate. And if you use his ultimate, which is the shield and the armor, right, then you have to just pray it's like only a 1v1, and you have to hope that the opponent doesn't shoot the glass of your shield in the 1v1, and they don't know how to run away from you in the 1v1 also. There's a lot of things that has to go right for you to be able to win a fight as this guy. Now, again, it's a completely different story if you're playing in a trio stacking team and you're all using comms, right? If you're playing in a trio stacking team and you're all using comms and you're like, hey, I'm Seva and I'm gonna use my riot shield now, I'm gonna push into this place so you two shoot the other people when they're all shooting at me, he's going to be like a very good pick, because it's not going to be very difficult to hold down X and push into a room. That's not going to be that hard. But as a solo, when most likely your teammates aren't going to be coming and they aren't going to be, you know, listening too much, and maybe there's not going to be so much teamwork in there, he's just not going to be that fantastic if you're playing solo. Because a lot of things have to go right for you to be useful. And again, even if you're sticking with your team and trying to play with your team and trying to tank stuff for your team, there's no guarantee that your team's going to be paying attention to that, and they're going to be, like, shooting the opponents that are shooting your shield. I've had several encounters where I was standing, like, in front of my teammates, and I just die, because they just shoot my glass because my teammates weren't shooting the opponents, if that makes sense. So, yep. There you have it. Am I happy with that? Luna is easy to be great. Shepherd is easy to be great. Byron is... where I don't want to put Byron there. Maybe I'll make another tier. Easy to be great, hard to be great, huge potential but difficult. Maybe I'll put like a huge potential but difficult row just for Byron. I think I just added 2 accidentally, so I'd like to delete that row. SA, I'll say A plus, and then I'll have an A tier. So A, and I'll say huge potential to be great. Yeah, I'm gonna put Byron in there because he's really not that easy to be good with, and Shepherd and Luna are very easy to be very useful with. Byron is not so easy to be super useful with, because you do have to know how to pair his ultimate, his bomb, and his dash together, and all of that has to be quite fluid, because if you're a little bit late, they're not going to be down anymore, and then you're just going to be pushing like a 3v1, which is not what you want to be doing in this mode, especially when there's another team somewhere. So I think he's going to get his own little tier. So S, I'll just make this S, actually. We're going to make this S, and then you're going to be just A, and then you're not going to be there. You're gonna go away. Right, so now we have S is easy to be great, A is huge potential to be great, B is hard to be great, C is okay, and D is niche. Right, so in S, we have Luna and Shepherd, because they're both very easy to use. A is Byron, because he's got insane potential, but you do have to know what you're doing. And then in B, you have Hackclaw, Uludu, and Toxic. You have to know how to use them quite well. And if you can use them well, they're going to be good. And if you can't use them well, then just pick someone else that's easier to use, because you're going to get more out of them. Stinger and Dewolf are fine. You're going to have a fine time with them, but I don't think they're anything crazy. And I think if you're like a really good player, you're going to get much more use out of someone else that's above them. And Seva, if you're playing solo, he's gonna suck because a lot of the time, most of the time in fact, you're not gonna get a straight up 1v1. And again, even if you do happen to get a straight up 1v1, a lot of things still have to go right for you to be able to win that fight. Like, your opponent has to not really know what they're doing for you to be able to win that fight, I would say. So, at least most of the time, anyway. Or, like, even if you're, like, really good, if you grapple them and then shield bash them and then use barbed wire everywhere, if they're just like a Viren, they can just V away, and your timer on your grapple is gone, right? So you can't catch them then. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Anyway, I've talked enough now. There you have it. There's the tier list. I think I'm happy with that. This is for Hot Zone. This is for solos. Just reminding that to anyone that's, you know, skipping to the end of the video, which I think people do with tier lists, but that's fine. So there you have it. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Probably not of people are going to like this. I think people are going to not like Seva being in D. I think people are probably not going to like Dewolf being in D also. I think a lot of people are going to think Toxic should be higher. And I think a lot of people are going to think that Viren should be in like S+ or something. But I don't think so. So let me know in the chat, in the comments rather, what you all think. And also if you're enjoying the new mode so far. There you go. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, then leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Farewell.